Hello and welcome to Landscape Photography World, the podcast for everyone passionate about landscape photography. I'm Grant Swinburne and I'll be your host on this show, talking to landscape photographers about their motivations, likes and dislikes. In this conversation, fine art landscape photographer Michael McCafferty discusses his passion for landscape photography, detailing how he began taking simple family photos and evolved into a more dedicated hobbyist capturing the stunning scenery of Ireland. He highlights the emotional and mental health benefits he derives from his craft, shares his experiences with photography clubs and mentorship, and talks about the balance between his job as a computer programmer and his love for photography. Michael also outlines his creative process, touching on both in-field shooting and post-processing techniques, his experiences in photography competitions, and the supportive nature of the photography community. I hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah.
G'day, Michael. Welcome to Landscape Photography World. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
That's the
Early here in Ireland, in the
yeah.
evening time for you, here with my coffee, and let's have a chat and see how we get on.
Cheers. I'm here with my water, and that's it. We're going to have a chat about landscape photography, I hope. So, where did it all start for you? What I guess made you get into landscape photography in the first place, and why do you keep doing it?
Suppose I've always enjoyed photography, taking family photographs away on holidays and things like that. But probably about 7, 8 years ago, I joined a group of fellas who they started doing walking and stuff. It was basically a mental health thing. Walking, just a group of guys chatting and walking through different locations when in the Irish countryside. So we were doing mountain walks, trail walking. Because Ireland's such a nice place anyway, you're just walking and you're seeing something nice. You're taking your phone out, you take a photo. Just get into it, doing it that way. Taking photos, sharing on social media, family, friends, other people are going, geez, that's pretty good. Giving you a bit of a buzz, confidence boost going, this is actually quite good. I enjoy this. What we did with this group of people, we would skill share, we'd chat, do whatever. One of the
Hmm.
guys there is a photographer. He's a press photographer, award-winning press photographer here in Belfast, and he took a photography workshop and brought us to a few different locations, nice waterfalls, places I hadn't been before, even though they're on my own doorstep.
Yeah, sure.
And he had the camera out and was showing people settings and blah blah. And then I just got the bug. I just loved it. I love walking and going around countryside and different places in Ireland anyway. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna start taking photographs of this and sharing it with people. So that's how I began. I haven't looked back. What happened because of that, I went and got myself my first DSLR camera. Started going around the places on my own, all auto. Didn't know how to use the thing. Probably a year or so before I went, geez, I need to start to learn how to use this camera. So that's when my friend Paul Collini, you've interviewed him
Yep.
before. I work with Paul in the same organization. I've known him over 20 years. I got chatting with Paul and I says, how do I learn this? Can I go out with you or whatever? And he introduced me then to the camera club here in Belfast called CB Camera Club.
Yeah,
He
right.
said, come along. There's a bunch of guys here that have been taking photos for over 40, 50 years. To come along, see if you like it. So that's what I done. I went to the camera club and haven't looked back. Just been going around the country ever since, trying to build up photos, portfolio, and I just enjoyed myself really.
Okay. So it's a part-time activity. It's not full-time. You're obviously not doing it
Oh
professionally.
no, this is a hobby for me. Yeah, I could get down a route where I could get into it that way. I would love to because it's my passion. Said just before here, I work as a computer programmer. That pays the
Yep.
bills. That gets me the money to go and buy me equipment for photography and stuff. But
Hmm.
it's like everything else. Everyone else in this country, anybody with a camera going around, they're sharing their stuff all over the place. Facebook, social media, trying to sell landscape photography. It's a saturated market here, but good photographers are good landscape photographers, and from just somebody who's picking up and going, snap, there you go. I'll sell
Yeah.
this for 20 quid. And you're like, so I want to learn the craft first. And if it ever gets to that stage, it would be brilliant. But I haven't decent enough job where I'm quite happy with keeping it as a hobby and a passion that I enjoy.
Yeah. What is it that you're chasing? Are you after the shot, or is it something a little longer term for you?
Oh no, this is to me now is just a way of life. I'll always go out and take photographs from now till I'm gone. It's like everything else. You're always trying to get as best shot as you can get. If that
Mhm.
shot comes, it comes. But I'll always go out and try and do my best, trying to get the shot as close to what I want in camera to
Yeah.
give me a bit. I don't really like doing the post processing. If I'm spending more than 5, 10 minutes post processing, I think like that. But I will take my time if I'm going into competition and stuff. So the 300, I'm making sure every sort of detail is covered. There'll be no spots, no pixels, no nothing.
Yeah.
Everything will be just made sure it's bang, detail in the whole image and things like that. But I think, to be quite honest, sometimes that perfect shot, like it's just luck. You can
Yeah.
always go get yourself set up, have an idea of what you want to photograph, get your composition set up, and then something happens. For example, Paul's one, two birds fly into your scene, and you've just got a worldie. I've not got no worldies. I've got some nice photos that I like, but I think that will just happen in time. You just be lucky if it happens.
Yeah. Fair enough. And are you a planner or are you more freeform and you just go with the flow and take what comes?
No, I'm definitely a planner in the sense that I've got all the apps on the phone. And most landscapers would do. So always in and about water. So I'm checking
Yep.
the tide apps, sunrises, going to locations, revisiting locations. What's the best time? Is this a sunrise shot or a sunset shot? Definitely a planner in that way. Checking high tides, so and then just going and seeing what's there. But I'll go to locations throughout the day anyway, just for scouting and the likes of that there, setting up a composition that I would like, and then it's all about giving myself the best opportunity to get that good shot. I'll do a planning, but sometimes when you know yourself, when you're out there, what you're looking for is not there.
Yeah. Right.
You're looking for other things while you're there, and I've no problem doing that at all. Fine, I think as long as you know how to use your camera and know how to get your settings to what you want, you can
Yep.
improvise when you're out there. Like I'm happy doing that when I'm out there. When I'm going, I usually have some sort of idea of what I want to get before I go.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of style, do you think you've got an individual style yet, or are you still developing that?
I think I'm probably still working on that. I do love long exposure stuff, so you will always get me close to water in and around that areas. But I enjoy minimal stuff really, so I try to always make my shot quite clean.
Yep.
And so my main focal point is there, a main subject here, something, and everything else around is very clean. I really go down the minimalist route, I think, more so than anything else at the minute. But I don't know. I don't know. I enjoy everything to be honest with it, but
Uh,
I think with being in the camera club, it forces you outside of just specializing in one thing.
yeah.
We
Right.
would have competitions, 5 different competitions throughout the year. 3 of them be open competitions. So my landscape would be competing with somebody's street photography or portrait or whatever.
Yeah. Or
And then
macro or
they
whatever.
always have, yeah, and then they always then have 2 specialist rounds each year. It would force me as a landscaper to go out and try and take some street photography, for example. I think this year we'll have a macro round and we'll have a flowers round, the things that I wouldn't normally do. I would say probably outside of my comfort zone, but I always give it a go. I always want to put something into competition
So,
to test myself, and I think you learn different skills doing different genres as well. So
oh,
it's good
absolutely.
fun, you know.
I think that's an important thing to remember, particularly for anyone that is a member of a camera club or whatever. One of the best things about being a part of that sort of environment is that you are going to be forced out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
In terms of that, does that mean you start to experiment with some of your photography? And I guess with experimentation always comes the possibility of failure. So, how do you deal with that? And how do you deal with didn't quite nail that focus on the macro shot or the portrait or whatever it is? How do you deal with that when coming back into the camera club and getting the feedback?
I think what's great about being in the camera club is just the amount of experiences that's in it. Like, there's
Yeah,
hundreds of years of experience with the guys that have been there. We have members there for over 50 years from the club started,
yeah,
right
sure.
up to people becoming in beginners and things like that. I have no problem with competition and feedback. I think everybody sees something different from everyone else. So I might take a photograph and think, I really like that. Put it in the competition and the judge will just wipe it to shreds or whatever.
Mm.
But I'm always up for a bit of constructive criticism. That's fine. Sometimes I'll agree, other times I won't.
Yeah.
So I'll try it out. If somebody makes a suggestion on one of my photographs, this isn't great. I would maybe do this or I would do that. I'll come back and I'll try it. I'll look at it and I'll assess it against what I've given out myself and went, yeah, they were right. I
Yeah.
like it better now. Or I'll go, no, they're talking crap. I like what I done better, so I'm keeping it as it is. But I think when you're saying about doing experimental stuff and things, I think during COVID, that I think a lot of people had to go that route because we were stuck,
Yeah.
couldn't really go to many places. Even in competitions and stuff that we were doing, you were seeing all the macro stuff, you were seeing the ACM stuff and different things, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's healthy for a photographer to try everything. Okay, you're going to have your passion and what you really want to do. You'll put more focus and time and effort into that kind of thing. But I'll do most things. I've got myself a little compact camera just for walking around and doing sort of street things. An everyday camera in your pocket. I see something interesting or whatever, I'll take that out, take a photo, and do things which I quite enjoy because I would say there's been spells throughout the last number of years where you lose your desire to be going out all the time and you're just a bit bored and you're burned out and then you take a break and I can't be asked and then just getting that wee small camera again and doing things that I wouldn't normally do, just photographing every day. It
Yeah.
started to get me going. I need to get back out somewhere here and get another more shots of landscapes and different things. So I do think I enjoyed having that camera just for an everyday camera and shooting and just doing something every day,
Mm.
which turned into a bloody nightmare. We went to a Mediterranean cruise
Yeah.
back there in May, and I thought, I'm not bringing the big camera with me. We'll be out and doing whatever. I'll bring this wee camera and got some little small filters for it and stuff just to mess about and see what I could do with it. All going well, 3, 4 days. Went to Dubrovnik in Croatia, standing in a bloody bus queue, and I got pickpocketed from a wee camera. Everyday cameras go off. Use my
Uh,
French. And it was just a real downer. I haven't been photographing as much now since I don't have that wee camera, but I suppose it's forced me out now to get out new locations. Some old locations I've been to before, try to get the better my shot that I've got there before and things like that. But I was a bit of a rambler, I have to say. I don't know. Can't even remember what you said at the start.
that's all right. I was going to dig into whether or not the feedback and criticism that you've got from the club has helped you develop your own critical eye, not just for your own photography, but also for others as well.
I'd say probably, yeah. It's like anything else. There's people out there with more experience than you and a lot more experience than me. I'm
Hmm.
gonna listen to what they say. I have seen people in the club who take offense to judges' comments and stuff, but that's not gonna bother me, not in the
Yeah.
slightest, because sometimes I would put the same photograph in that's been criticized by one judge and the next judge will love
Yeah.
it. It's just that subjective. So
Exactly. And
I,
that's
I'm
the whole point, I think, of getting a broad base of feedback rather than just asking one person.
Well, this is it. I wouldn't take any sort of offense if somebody criticizes any of my stuff. I'll
No.
take it on board. As I say, I'll try and do what they say. But at the end of the day, me as the photographer, I'll make the final decision on it. Like it, I like it. I'm
Yeah.
here to take photographs for me. If anybody else likes it or appreciates my work, then that makes me happy. But at the end of the day, as long as I'm happy with it, that's good. Anyone really. But yeah, if I'm doing some photography that I'm wanting to put in the competition or I want some feedback, I will go to people like Paul for a bit of advice. What do you think about this?
Yeah.
Paul would be my mentor, and he has been my mentor for the last 6 years. So I think I'm very lucky to have somebody like Paul, who I would class as probably the top landscape photographer in the country. I'm
Right.
lucky to have him on tap. Anytime I need some advice, I'm able to get somebody like Paul, who is such a top photographer. He doesn't talk nonsense. If he thinks something's crap, he goes, that's crap. And some people don't like that, but I love it. I
Yeah.
love the honest feedback. It's brilliant. But that's just
Yeah.
the way I am. I like honesty. I'd prefer if somebody didn't like it, just tell me you don't like it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you tell me I don't like it and tell me your reasons, then
Yeah,
I
I'd,
very
I'd much
good there
prefer
and
to have
disagree.
somebody
But
that's going to say, "Oh, you haven't quite got the horizon straight there." So it might
that's
only
true,
be a
Paul.
degree out, but that degree spoils the photo, or
100%.
something else that's distracting in the corners or whatever, and that you haven't noticed in your processing. So I think, yeah, you're right. That feedback loop of basically going and talking to people and getting feedback around your images is an important thing for people to get out and do.
I would say to anybody coming in, just beginning photography or whatever, don't be afraid to ask. I think the community and the people who are into photography, they want to see nice photos. They're always going to help you. Take their advice and crack on with it and do your
Yeah.
best and enjoy it.
Where are you with mastering your gear and your things like settings? Is that somewhere that, for me, it's always a continual journey, but I'm interested in where you feel you are with yours.
No, well, yes, I agree with you. Everything's a continual journey. You keep learning every day. Every time you're out with the camera, you will keep learning. But I think you just have to have a pretty good knowledge of your camera
I know it took
settings
me
and
3 years to find a particular function that I didn't know it had.
geez, I probably haven't went through all my functions, but I would have probably set functions or set sort of things that I would normally start off at, and then
Yep,
I'll
yep,
adjust from there. I think that's all about just the general photography, the basics, and knowing your exposure triangle and things like that. Just and then being creative with it. Then after you know what you're doing.
yeah.
So what one thing that I did do during COVID, I went back to college and did a photography course,
Okay.
GCSE photography course, just for myself.
Yeah, yeah,
I was throughout school, I just made the grades. I got enough to get me to where I wanted to go. I got enough to
yep.
get me to college. I just scraped through everything. But for that, my best result I ever got in school, I got like an A star or whatever. Something that I was passionate and enjoyed. Things like that for beginners as well. Even that, learning the basics from a sort of, what would you call it? An academic, or not an academic,
Yep.
just the I
Theoretically.
can't get the word out. Yeah, learning the theory and
Yeah.
then putting them just with the different projects and stuff that they give you. It was good and it was enjoyable. And first time I got an A plus, so it was great.
So what does success in your photography mean to you? How do you define it?
I suppose success for me is taking that photo, printing it out, really loving it myself. Myself, going through the sort of camera club things, I always had the ambition just to get up and start competing with these advanced members. And I think due to the mentoring and stuff from my friend, I probably moved faster on the journey than I probably would have or should have. So within the first year, I advanced into the intermediate section, and within that year, I was putting photographs out there that were getting starred images within the organization.
Yeah,
If you
right.
get two starred images, then you can't compete as a novice anymore.
Yeah,
So within the first 2 years of doing photography, I had to compete with just because I put out a few images that were actually meeting the level.
yeah,
So I suppose getting starred images and being recognized by people in the organization who know a lot more than me saying that photograph's good, that was success for me at a very early point in my career of
yep.
photography here, but just competing and getting that acknowledgement from people who have been in the game a lot longer than you, that's success. I've got one photograph that was successfully accepted and published in the UK Landscape Photographer of the Year. For me only been in that short time and my first time entering the competition to get that,
Yeah, yeah,
it was great going over to London with the top landscapers in the UK and chatting with these guys and hearing their stories, what they're doing. Some
yeah.
guys are saying, "This is the first time I've been in this book. I've been doing this here for so long," and this, I'm like a wee bit harsh, like this is my first time entering something, and I got in, like, feeling like an imposter there. But like that was brilliant. Just being around those people and hearing their
Sounds
sort
like
of
a great
work process
experience.
and what they do. It was brilliant. So it was. So things like that were enjoyable. But as I was been saying, and I've been saying for most of this, as long as I'm happy with the photograph, that's success for me. I enjoy being out. I'm happy in my own company, going out and taking photographs, and I just think you're winning in life when you're doing something that you love.
Fair enough. How do you balance your full-time career and your photography? Is it easy or is it a struggle sometimes?
No, I think it's not too bad because after this, we're mad landscape photographers. We're going out at crazy time, crazy o'clock in the morning
Yeah,
to get that shot. So I'm away getting a photograph before work even I'm even thinking about work. And
yep.
I'm getting that time in my own to just chill out, relax. And then it kind
And
of sets you up for the day then when you're starting to work because you're already been out for maybe a couple of hours before you're turning on the computer and
yeah,
you're ready to go for that. And then again, work's finished. I've got plenty of time then to where am I going here for a sunset? I can work around it. It's okay at this time of year for working around it, but the better times of the year, then the autumns when you're starting to get nicer times, so you're not up so early and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Then yeah, I I work around that with I'll take days off work and stuff when I'm going to a location or whatever. That's no problem. I'll work around it. It doesn't. I don't let it affect my work. I don't let my work affect photography for me. As I say, I'll do as best as I can, but I don't think it affects me either way, to be quite honest.
Okay. Do you think where you live has influenced how you shoot? It obviously influences what you shoot because in Northern Ireland you've got possibly, I don't know, a thousand different places not too far from Belfast that you can get
So
out within an hour or two's drive and take photos of. Has it influenced how you shoot in any way?
I don't think it's influenced me how I shoot, to be honest. Definitely the what, and definitely the camera club that I joined influenced the what because we would be more landscapers in our club.
Yeah, yeah,
Other clubs are competing against us, and you can see the different club and the photos and go, that's from this club, that's from that club, because they'll just in a full set of portrait photos.
yeah,
We are a landscape club mostly. Okay, with
yeah,
some people and they'll do different genres, but that's definitely affected the what I shoot. And
yeah.
probably it's been the best fit for me because it's the what I want to shoot anyway. I wouldn't say it's affected how I do it. No, not that way, but probably the how is more so just going through the mentoring program and being shown different techniques and
Yeah.
then just building on that myself
Mhm.
after. But no, I'm sorry, they probably sounds really crappy answers, but
No, that's fine.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Do you
But
have a favorite spot that just keeps calling you back?
yeah, just for my own sort of peace of mind and chill out place. You can see the photo in the background here. There's a location, and it's literally about a 10-minute drive from the home here. It's just a reservoir, but it has the most amazing sunsets,
Yeah.
and it's all nearly always calm, so you're able to get beautiful reflections in that
Nice.
water. And even if you didn't have the camera with you, just to go there and chill out for a half an hour and watch a sunset, it's really good. But to be that close, it was within the sort of range that I was allowed to do, or when COVID restrictions were on.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got maybe about four or five photographs from the same location, different spots along the reservoir where I've kept them and they'll be in my portfolio. They're good shots. I think they are. They've done okay in competition and they bring you back to that place. So I suppose that's what I like to do in my photography. When I'm taking the photo and I'm sitting behind the camera and I'm doing a long exposure, when I put that photo out there, I want the viewer to be there with me. I want them to see it through my eyes, what I'm seeing.
Yeah, sure,
Okay,
sure.
it's not going to be exact when I do a long exposure, exactly, but that's what I want you to see. This location's gorgeous, it's stunning.
It's trying to express the feeling.
Yeah, it's the feeling. I want you to feel chilled and relaxed the way I am. And that's what
Yeah.
I suppose that's probably going back to style. That's what I want to do. I want you to feel something when you see my photograph, an emotion.
Yeah.
An emotion is normally chilled and relaxed. That's me.
So, what's the furthest you've traveled to get a shot?
I haven't really went away with my DSLR camera before. I've always just been in the country here. I was taking photographs that I would have been using in competition when I was away in that main cruise, but they're gone. Both have been to in Ireland with the camera specifically for competition photos and building stuff myself has been down the west
Yeah.
coast in the Connemara region of Galway, and it's absolutely stunning. Been there a few times now. Went there myself back in October, had a 2-day trip in a camper van, got a couple of photos in Connemara, and then we shot across over to Dublin. Then Connemara, probably about a 4.5 hour drive, 5 hour drive from Belfast here. That would probably be the furthest, just a drive specifically with photography in mind.
Yeah, sure.
Most of the places we go to, Northern Ireland, anywhere we want to go there, you'd get the location within
Yeah.
an hour, so it's not too bad. For the for me, the best locations in the country to photograph are the west coast, the Wild Atlantic Way of Ireland. It's just stunning. So Donegal, the whole way down that coast.
Yeah.
So my plan is to get the whole way down there and get the different locations marked off. I've loads of locations, just put in my phone on the notes, different shots that I want. I've seen other photographers have been to this location. I'm gonna mark them all off and I'll just
Nice.
carry on that way. But ideal world, camper van and just do it.
Yeah,
And just that there would be an ideal world, but
nice.
nowhere near that stage yet. Nowhere near that stage yet. But I was on holiday a couple of weeks ago, and we were in Cong in County Mayo. Lovely spot. They shot the John Wayne shot the Quiet Man movie there back in the 1950s or whatever. So it's
Yep.
still runs off the tourism of that time. But within that location, I specifically took that holiday because you're a half an hour away from Connemara.
Yeah.
So I went early, 4 in the morning, down to Connemara, got to a few locations. Some I'd been to before, other ones I'd marked out to look for new ones. I hadn't seen many photos of it up here in Coventry,
Mhm.
trying to get new stuff that people haven't seen. People are fed up seeing the same photos over and over again, but it's how you interpret that. But first morning down, hour and a half taking photos, lovely. Got the different location that I hadn't been to before. I got two or three photos and then bloody lens went. I got an error in the lens. I think every time I go and do something always messes up. Either I forget the bloody memory card, I haven't charged my batteries enough, the bloody lens is gone. My main landscape lens that I use is the 24, and so it's gone. I've put it in for repair yesterday, so I'll probably be without that now for
Oh, wow.
a month or two before it gets repaired. So I've only got like a 70 to 200 lens to work with at the minute, and I've no wide angle lenses, so it'll be more. I don't know. It won't be much landscaping for a while for me. Just
Oh,
more
yeah.
looking at
I,
patterns and different things.
take it as a creative challenge, I guess.
And that's exactly how I'm going to do it. So I've been out a few times now with the other camera, and you're just going putting it on, and you're set up and going, "This is so much fucking harder." But I have to think about this now. It was so much easier with a wider
Yeah.
lens, but this is it. Within the difficulties and adversities, you can come out of it and maybe learn other things. So yeah, I'll take it as a challenge. Crack on. Yeah.
You've talked about a horror story. What about a really good, memorable experience that you've had?
Suppose that the best day of photography I've had, it would have been on that sort of 2 day trip I did go on, and we crossed over to Dublin,
Hmm.
and we stayed in the Phoenix Park in
Yep.
Dublin, and we were driving across that night, and it was foggy, and I went, see, if these conditions are like this in the morning, it's going to be great. And it was. Got up there, looked out the window, the fog and the mist was still there, and you're going, happy days. The light was brilliant, the sun was coming in, and everything was just gold. It was stunning. That probably definitely my favorite day. I've got maybe three or four photos that I really like.
Mm.
And competition wise, they all done good. Normally, if you get away and you get any photo on a trip, one photo, you're happy days. But I was able to pick up four that have all done really well for me in
Yeah.
competition. But it's not the competition I was worried about. It was just being there in the conditions.
Yeah.
Never experienced it for maybe had about 3 hours, 4 hours with really excellent conditions in that morning. It was just stunning. So
Nice.
not too often you get the conditions that you're looking for, but
No.
we give ourselves, as we're saying, with the planning and checking the weather apps, the everything else, you give yourself the chance. But this is probably the only time it's come out just so perfect. It was just,
Yeah, I think that's a really important point too for beginners is that if you're not in or you're not out and about at the right time, then you're not in the game. It's
100%.
it's hard to take a good photo from your couch or your bed at sunrise. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Give yourself the best opportunity.
absolutely.
We're never guaranteed it, but if you
No,
don't plan for
the,
it,
the,
you're
the
never
time
gonna
you
know.
don't go out is when the banger sunrise is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
What have you learned about the world through photography?
I've learned that there's a whole lot of people in the world who love it. Probably the, definitely within the last 3 years, I got myself into the NFT space
Yep.
and talking with the photographers and blah, blah, blah. So I've made friends from all around the world who are into photography. Within that, with myself, I keep mentioning Paul over and over again. Paul, Colleen, Gabriel Spangler, and Donna Martinez. We came together and we set up a community, the Photography Talks community. So we would have hosted a space once a week, different topics, and we just got a community of people coming in and joining us each week and
Yeah.
sharing photos, talking about them. So you're getting different people's perspectives of photography from all around the world, and I suppose it's beneficial for me because I'm just not stuck in the bubble of Northern Ireland where you're seeing the same photographs over and over again. You're
Yeah.
seeing the same locations. You're starting to hear what other people are doing in the world. You're seeing different locations. You're seeing different things. just generally chatting about photography, 2 hours every week that you were always looking forward to. Then becoming confident and stuff with the people you're talking to and becoming friends that were able to do sort of spaces that people don't like touching on, which was your constructive criticism things,
Mm.
and people would talk out, and you were doing it in a way where we're all friends, so people weren't taking offense at it. Or, well, when I say that, you weren't being nasty, you were always trying to get positives out of it. As somebody
Yeah, yeah.
shared a photo, you're getting positives out of it, and this is great, but I'd maybe do something like this or do that. People actually enjoyed them spaces, which I'd like to see more of that there when you see the photography spaces, people doing that. I think
It's a hard
where
thing, I
people
think.
sometimes fear of it.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do online as well. Like spaces on X or Twitter or whatever the hell anyone wants to call it this today. It is not a bad place to do it because you can share the image or you can share a post that somebody's put up and you can then talk about that. But yeah, it's a difficult thing. I remember I was part of it was an old bulletin board style forum around Australian photography, and there was landscape, there was portrait, there was macro, you name it, it was in there. But you had some really good photographers in there, some of whom, a couple of whom I've actually interviewed here, but some people that have been in the game for many years, and just getting their critique and feedback, it was all done bulletin board style. So you'd post an image asking for feedback and you'd get
Right,
it.
okay.
The good part about it was that it was done in a really constructive way. And anyone that stepped over a line in terms of saying, oh, that's just shit, right? They got clipped
Yeah,
around the ear hole and told if you don't pull your socks up and do it properly, you end up kicked out of the group. And those sorts of conversations, as I say, they're not easy to have online, but when you can find an online community like that, I think there's a huge amount of value in it. And definitely kudos to you guys for giving it a go and doing something like that.
yeah, that it was fun, and now it's died down now. We still occasionally will come in and we'll come on and interview somebody, or we'll
Mm.
come on and maybe give here's a theme for our next space, the color red. Go out there and create photos. No, get people out as well. Get
Yeah.
them off their seats in a way out and do something creative. Yeah, it was fun, and it's fun. I would still like to do some of the spaces, but I think most of that stuff on the Twitter and the NFT stuff, it's people have got a bit tired with it. It looked really good at the start.
Oh yeah, it
Just
was the gold rush, wasn't it? And everybody jumped on it.
it was, but I still wouldn't leave that kind of space because I've made so many friends throughout the world and
Yeah.
really good friends that I would want to meet and take photographs with them at some
Yeah.
point. It's nice to have friends from all around the world, different locations, where if you do go to that location, I'm sure you could just pick up the phone or pick up and say, I'm coming here. Do you want to go out for an afternoon shoot or morning shoot or whatever? I know they'll do. I've had people from the States who have come across here and said, I'm in Scotland here. I'm going to nip over to Belfast. Any chance of bringing us out? Yes, no problem. Come on over up the north coast. The locations here. We've spent a morning shooting and also
Nice.
that kind of thing. It's broadened your horizons and
Yeah.
it's good. I just enjoy that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a positive. In terms of what your process is like, I'm interested in how people think when they're both in the field, but also when they're in the processing studio. And I guess my question here is more, do you have any sort of routine that you go through out in the field or processing? And if so, what does that look like? Without giving secrets away, obviously.
I would say my routine out in the field is really just as we've discussed. You would have an idea, or I would have an idea of what I'm after. So I'm out there in the field and I'm setting up my composition to what I think is as nice a composition as I can get on the location. I wouldn't say I have any sort of routines when I'm out there. It's just I'm out there and I'm just doing it and I'm in the moment and I'll adapt if I have to adapt while I'm out there processing. I usually don't stick what I've done. What I do when I come home is I'll put it out on my hard disk and have everything stored, clear up the memories for the camera for the next shoot and have it all ready and charged up and stuff ready to go whenever I want to go. But I don't usually just go, I'm going to have a look at these photos as soon as I've done them. I like to let them. sit there for a while, and then come back on them with a fresh eye when I haven't been thinking about it. And then
Yeah.
it's almost like I'm there again for the second time, and now I'm thinking about it.
People tend to sit in one or the other camp there. They're either straight into it or they're one that they leave it for a while.
No, I like to leave it for a while because to me, then I'm starting to come back and then I'm judging it. I'll bring all my photos up and I'll go through and I'll see sort of rank, is there anything here that I like? And I'll
Yeah.
pick specifically the ones that I like, and then I'll pull them out separate, and then I'll just have them in a folder of things that I'm going to work on, and I'll just work away. Initially, at the start, I always started with Lightroom and had a folder with the ones I was going to process in Lightroom and work my way through them. But I think the more I've got into it now, I'm using Lightroom less. I'm doing most of it in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Uh, Camera Raw, nearly all the stuff you have there anyway.
Oh, yeah. Camera Raw is Lightroom
It's,
without
it's
the
basic.
indexing, basically.
Yeah, I find myself Photoshop now being my tool of choice that I'm doing most of my stuff on now. I always would have used Photoshop anyway with Lightroom for the removing dust marks or removing things that
Yeah,
were
sure.
just sticking out and blah blah blah. But that's where I'm at. I process using Photoshop, and again, I'd be more selective when I'm doing it. I pick out the ones that I like after going through them all again.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
I just don't. I just, as my friend would say, I don't just want to polish a turd. Like I'll pick out something
Yeah, yeah. I know exactly.
that I really want to spend time on. I'm not going to just pick out something and go, right, I'll make something out of this. And too much work for me.
You said you spent a minimal amount of work on your processing. What does a minimal amount of work mean to you?
It means to me that when I am on the field and I am setting up a composition while I'm there, that I'm not going to have to go and remove this or clone this out in Photoshop.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
trying to get as close to possible as the what I want on the back of the camera. Yeah, obviously, when you need to do post processing to get what
Well,
the
the raw
finished
file
audio
doesn't look any
on.
good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah, but I go on, here's a photo, and I have to take this whole thing out here. It can be a pain in the ass, but
Yeah,
I will spend time on a photo. Like, I like to do a quick one, blah, 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 there you go. But if it's
sure.
for a competition, I'll spend a lot more time on it. And as I say, I'll make sure that the best of my ability, everything that shouldn't be there is gone. And I'll
Yeah,
make sure there's detail in every part of that image. Yeah, I for the likes of the competitions and the like, I have my whole setup here. So I have my computer here, I have the software on here, and I have the printing stuff. I do my own printing, mounting, and all that. So I actually enjoy that. I thought it would have been easier than what it is. The
okay.
mountain and
It's a
stuff,
dark art.
the amount of mats I've wasted. You're like, I like the whole process from the taking the photo, processing the photo, and then when you're happy with it, the final product is the print.
Yeah,
When you get that print, that's where you can see if it's right or not.
yeah.
A print will not tell any lies.
Uh, do you print? Do you print everything that you would say take to a competition, or is it more than that or less than that?
Oh, no, it's basically before the NFT world. My plan was to get my portfolio built up and then to maybe go down into that route and try and sell some prints and blah blah blah.
Sure, sure.
Then the NFT space came in, and I went, okay, I'll go down this digital route and see where this goes. And no, primarily my printing is for competition. Competitions, there's a color print round, black and white print round, and digital round. So it's primarily for printing. And again, that's an art in itself. Choosing the right paper, the amount of prints you go through
Absolutely.
and go, at the state of that, then the paper makes a massive difference. That's a learning process in its own, and that's where I'm enjoying that, but it's a hobby.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
expensive hobby.
Have you ever hit a creative wall or had a creative block that you've had to get around? And if so, how did you handle it? And do you have any strategies that you could share?
To be honest, I wouldn't say I've hit a creative wall, but I have went through the couple of months I just can't be asked when I take photograph. I don't know if it's just burnout or whatever, but it's really like taking the time to do I want to go out and do photos or whatever. But I think once you get a photo and you really like it again, you get a buzz,
Yeah, yeah,
and that will make me want to go out more. So if you're taking photos and you're just not find something that you really like or whatever. Sometimes if you're just doing it and you're going out, you don't get the conditions and you get in a rut and you're like, just doing my head in. Just leave the camera there and you can't be bothered getting up early or doing whatever. But it's been more that kind of a thing opposed to creative when I'm there and I'm doing it. I love it. It's just sometimes the fatigue of going out and doing it all the time. You just don't feel like it. But when you do get back into it again, you're going, why the hell did I not go out there? Because this is so I haven't joined this.
Why,
No,
why
but
haven't I been doing this more often? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Where do you see photography in society?
It's definitely in society more than it's ever been, especially with the invention of the phones and
Yeah.
the technology they're able to put onto that phone these days. The guy I was saying is who started the sort of journey, the press photographer. There's days he goes out now and he doesn't take the camera at all, and he'll do that for himself just because he's got the camera every day. Some days he'll just go, I'll just go out and take photos with my phone today, and they're going to print for the press and stuff, and that day he's doing that for him. And that's turned into his more of his passion. His day-to-day job is with the camera, taking photos every day, but his passion is mobile photography. So I
Mm.
think whether you go down that route with mobile, it's made it more accessible for everybody. And
Absolutely.
everybody wants to take a photo and everybody likes to share a photo. It's definitely become the norm. And even my parents, my father's 78 and my mother's 75, Mum's not too much into it. She's fed up that I don't want any more photos to put up on my walls here. There's no more room. But my dad, he's out with the camera and the phone and he's shooting away and he's loving it. So it's cool. But yeah, it's like anything. The world needs art and photography's art. And sit there and look at a photo and just go, yeah, that's beautiful. And make you feel something. That's what it's all about.
What do you see the biggest challenges to photographers right now?
I don't really know how to answer that. I suppose if I was a professional photographer, I would have a different answer than me, just as more
Yeah,
of a hobbyist. For me, probably it's how you get on and how you deal with the sort of setbacks. Like I've that lens again now, so that's my main shooting lens. So it's not a cheap game.
no,
If you
definitely.
want to do it, if you want to do it,
That
but
said, you
because
can do it with your phone.
you can do it with your phone, but if you want to get a proper good landscape, you're
No,
not going to get the result with your phone.
no,
Okay, I'm going to do something else, but the game that we're in, the quality comes with the better cameras, and again, seeing it on print, you can't get that the result with
exactly. Yeah, yeah. If
phone
you're going to print
100%.
stuff, then yeah, I agree. The
Yeah,
phone's just not quite there yet.
no, it's okay for if you want to print a wee A4 for something or something
Sure.
small, but if you want something nice and big and to put on your own wall,
Yeah,
I think no, it's not going to work. Both, it's an expensive game. There's no doubt about it. We can't look away from that. It is an expensive game, but if you love it, you're gonna do it. So I have no problem. This lens is broke. I have no problem going and getting it. That's getting fixed. That's my priority. The next thing I want to do with my photography is get that lens back. I'll go through the pain and the money, and I'll pay for it. I'll do what I have to do it.
yeah.
I'm gonna do it. At the end, much yeah.
Thing about being a photographer.
I think the favorite thing for me being a landscape photographer in Ireland is I just love being out. I love being out and just on my own and with my own thoughts. And I think photography really allows me to do that. Yes, it's nice going out with friends and it's nice going to a location with them. I can do that and enjoy that, but I can equally enjoy it going out on my own.
Yeah,
I could spend hours on my own. I'm quite happy in my own company, my own thoughts.
yeah.
Keeps me out of trouble. I'm not doing anything bad. The wife can't shout at me. What are you doing? I'm just going out to take photos of a whole tree. That, no, it's good for your mental health. I think it's good to just go out, chill, and relax. So that's what I use it for myself. If I'm feeling down or anything, I can go to that little place there a few miles away up to that reservoir, take the
Yeah,
camera out, take photos just for myself, just to relax, not for any competitions or anything like that. It's just you have things like that you can do. And it just brings you into a mindset or a mind state that you just brings me back to being okay and chilled out and relaxed. And
yeah.
I'm not harming anybody or being an asshole to people or slapping the people. I'm getting myself into my own comfort zone and just doing what I do.
Yeah, nice, nice. What about the worst thing? What's the worst thing about being a photographer?
Just being stupid. As I say, I've done every daft thing that a photographer can do. I've went out, no battery in the camera, traveled 2.5 hours to get to a place and I went, oh jeez, what have I done? I've waded out into the bloody sea, set up my composition, ready to take a photograph, take the photo. no memory card. Where's your memory card? The way back over there. The time you come back out into the sea to get the photo
Everything's
taken,
changed. Yeah.
the tide is gone, the reflection of the lighthouse is gone. You're like, every mistake there is that can possibly be done, I've made them.
You
I've
done a
learned from
five,
them.
have you done a 5K hike into wilderness area with your tripod head? You got the tripod, you got the
Oh
camera,
no, I've
just
done
haven't
all
got
that,
the head.
a whole lot. I went last month. I went to a location, and I've got the tripod everywhere I go, especially we need it for our long exposure. And went there, everything sorted, early start. I didn't even have a tripod. At least
Yeah.
you had a tripod. Might not have had a head. I didn't even have a tripod. And like, how do you forget a bloody tripod? The size of the thing. No, every daft mistake there you can possibly make, I definitely do them. It's good fun. When I speak to my friends about it, they just laugh. You're a bloody idiot. Things
Yeah.
like that, but it's all part of the fun.
What do you like to do when you're not out shooting?
Well, it's from a very young age, I've been a lawn bowler. I know
Okay.
it's normally an old man sport, but the best players in
I
are all
disagree with that. It's
young.
not an old man sport. There's a
Thank
lot of
you.
young
But
people.
best players in the world are all in their twenties. They're all fantastic players and stuff.
Uh,
Especially in your country, they're the creme de la creme, the number one country in the world. We have good bowlers here too now, but when I was growing up, I would have been known what's the troubles really in Belfast, Northern Ireland. So the troubles were going on back then. I'll not go into that, but my mother in her 20s, she got caught up in a bomb explosion. She emigrated over to Canada with my father. Sister was born there. She's Canadian citizen. But my father got homesick and came back to Ireland. So then I appeared, but that was during the heart of the troubles. Was still all going on. So the communities didn't mix. My mum and father, they got into lawn bowls, and they
yeah.
brought me and my sister into it as well. And the beauty of that was we were then able to mix with the other community and with made friends throughout the world as well with that. We've done quite well in it. All of us, my brother, my sister, and myself, we've all played sort of junior international level. Never made it to the full international team, but we've got a bit of traveling throughout the world and made friends throughout the world with that as well. So I've been playing lawn bowls since I've probably been 8 years of age. So
Nice.
like I'm 46 now, so and I still play it every Saturday and
Yeah.
during the week, and I've done this for since then. But as I said to another guy from South Africa, he did an interview with me one time actually, but it was more of a written one. Any sport that you can have a beer while you're playing it, that's good enough for me.
That's exactly right. Yeah. It's an easy game to learn, but a hard one to master.
A hard one to master. A lot of it's up there, but it's again another thing keeps you out of trouble. If you're playing sport, you're doing photography, you're not being a bad person. You're just going to you're being a good person. Keep yourself out of trouble, and I think that's all. Once you're a married man, as long as you're doing things that you can't be shouted for, then that's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy the low balls, and I play it quite competitively in the top sort of division and stuff in the country, and I have a drink with friends.
Nice. What's the best and or worst piece of advice anyone's ever given you?
Best piece of advice for photography is take advice, talk to people more experienced than you. You're always going to learn. You're always going to learn. You learn every day in photography. You're
Mm.
going to learn from other people's mistakes. You're going to learn from what they've done properly and correct. For any beginner, always speak to somebody with more experience than you. They've been there, they've done that, they've got the t-shirt. And I think the photography community are brilliant. They're willing to share. So
Absolutely.
most of the worst advice, don't do what I do. Just don't be an idiot. I don't know. I don't know what I could say with the worst
No,
advice.
that's all right. Not a problem. Are there any photographers out there that you think I should be talking to?
As you've probably interviewed most of the ones that I really like. I'm not sure if you've interviewed Neil Brunella yet, but I love his work. You guys and people from the community that I run about with, who I think would be fun. I don't know if Michael Hartley
Um,
from England.
I've
Yeah,
seen him. I've seen
I
him around, but yeah, I haven't got him on my list. So thank you for that. Yeah,
would put Michael down. He's a fun guy.
yeah,
You'll get a nice, funny interview of Michael.
excellent.
Paddy McDougall from Scotland, good guy.
Yep.
The other guys, Mark McNeil, Ross Brown from Texas, good guy. But most of my friends you've already interviewed, so
Yeah,
Sean and
fair
Paul.
enough. Fair
They're,
enough.
they're my good friends. Tony Reddington, you know him. Tony Reddington would be more of a he's an all rounder. He would do everything, so I'm not sure if he would fit into the landscape thing, but he'd be a brilliant interview. He's good. He's a good lad.
Yeah, fair enough. I might look him up and see if he'd be interested.
He's a fellow Irishman. He's a rabbit. He's living in Mexico, so he always has a story. I suppose another Irish guy, James Strait. I don't know if
Okay, yep,
you've met James. James is a good guy.
fair enough. Thank you. I got one more question for an important one that I know a lot of people really keen to get to the bottom of. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
No,
Fair enough.
I'll just keep it short, Pete. No.
Not a problem. All right. Well, thank you very much. It's been wonderful getting to know you a little better and to spend some time with you, and great to meet you. Where can people find your work?
You get me on Instagram, Michael McCaverty Photography, on X, McC Photos. Don't have a website, but working on that for this year. So hopefully you'll get me there soon.
Excellent. All right. Thanks very much, Nick.
All right, Grant. Thanks very much. Sorry for all the mess ups and time confusions and things like that, but it
Ah,
was good chatting
it's
to you.
all good. It's all part of the fun.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day then. Thanks very much.
Yeah, cheers.
Take care.
Thanks
Bye bye.
again for listening to Landscape Photography World. I hope you enjoyed the show and keep listening because I'll be joined by some great guests in upcoming episodes. You can find my work in this podcast at grantswinburnphotography.com, along with prints and photography gear. I'm also on Vero, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm Grant Swinburne. Hope to see you out shooting soon.